My name is not a refugee. And I said that because when I was in the refugee camp, everybody called me refugee. Nobody knew my name. They called me refugee. They didn't know whether I had a mom or dad. They called me refugee. And I kind of accepted that because I had no choice. In fact, I was made to believe that there are names in the book called refugees for the last 12 years that I lived in the refugee camp until I arrived in the UK. And now today, this is my first time to say publicly that my name is not refugee. And my name will never be refugee. So my name is Akoi Bazzie. I was only 14 when the civil war erupted in my home country in Liberia and unfolded into an unbelievable nightmare. In fact, it was Africa's bloodiest civil war at the time. So rebels killed and raped my people. I was separated from my family. I had nowhere to live for 2 years and was on the run, seeking safety in the jungle. I was scared of being captured by rebels who would turn me into a child soldier. I was scared of being captured by rebels because definitely they would turn me into a child soldier. So I wandered on the border between Liberia and Guinea with the echo of gunshot ringing in my head, marching the rhythm of my heart beat by beat. So I could never imagine my childhood would turn into just a battle for survival. Finally, on one early morning in 1991, when the watery sun had just begun to tiptoe over the distant horizon, after walking alongside desolate jungle roads for hours, days, weeks, and months, I entered Guinea, my first country of asylum. But I was lucky. I was lucky to cross that border, where over 45,000 refugees from Liberia, each with stories of hardship and suffering, were all seeking survivors. But I felt sad and happy. How would I be happy? I was moving and running without my parents, worried about my family, often homesick. On the other hand, how could I be sad? I was alive, was not a child soldier, and I lived in the refugee camp for 12 years. Fortunately for me, I was identified by the UNHCR, the organization I work for now, as being at serious risk, which meant that it was not safe for me to go back to Liberia, which in 2004 was still not stable. I traveled to the UK as part of the first group of resettled refugees through the UK Gateway Protection Program from Liberia, and I had never been on the airplane. With little English upon arrival in the UK, I studied to improve my English. But I had a plan. Full-time employment and giving something back to society was my aim. And I knew that the main barriers would be the language. So I thought about my long-term employment goals, and I put myself in the position for success. So while in the process of educating myself, I got an award, which was the Adult Learning Week Award in 2009 at the Institute of Lifelong Learning, that is the University of Sheffield, where I also acquired a first-class degree in community policy and practice. Alongside my job with the UNHCR and the UK Home Office, I studied postgraduate qualification at the University of Manchester as well as the University of London. So between 2004, upon my arrival, to 2019, as we stand, I have traveled extensively in Europe, USA, and in Africa, working in forced migration and refugee protection, and of course, celebrating the potential of refugee communities, promoting community cohesion and refugee employment. In November 2008, I was presented City of Sanctuary Award for contributing to the city, to Sheffield as a city, first city of sanctuary. And also, finalist, Refugee of the Year, Yorkshire and Humberside. Currently, I'm a school governor and a trustee of reputable schools and organizations in the UK. I have lived in the UK for 15 years and I've worked non-stop 14 years, non-stop 14 years as a refugee through refugee-friendly organizations who supported me through volunteering and also through employment support. So I have gone from strength to strength, and now I'm working and giving something back to the society that welcomed me. Therefore, celebrating potential in refugee communities is vital. It's very important because refugees have so much to offer, and that's why we help people to try to understand and to give them the tools they need and empower them to help themselves and others. Of course, creating potential in refugee community and celebrating it is a big challenge, but the rewards are even bigger. So celebrating potential in refugee communities can change people's lives. So I'd like to say thank you so much to SonaTalks for inviting me in here. And I'd like to say for giving me the opportunity for the first time to try to tell you that my story, my refugee story, is my strength. And from today onwards, my name is not refugee. My name is Akoi Bazzie. They made us refugees, but you can help us to be useful members of society. Together, we can do it. Thank you.